Hey, this is Teddy Burriss, your LinkedIn coach and trainer. I'm all about LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I don't like to use the word expert because expert means that I know everything about LinkedIn, and I don't. But I use it enough that I know a lot about LinkedIn. I love helping people master this business tool. And I'm really deliberate about referring to LinkedIn as a business tool. I don't call it a social media site. Even though it does fall in that footprint, I call it a business tool because if you use it the right way, it does help you in your business, in your career transition, in your life. It really is a very deliberate business tool for me. One of my clients sent me an email this morning and said she's a new client just getting started, and she's wondering how much she has to invest in LinkedIn. So she asked this question. She said, Teddy, how much time should I spend on LinkedIn? And the answer to that question is very relevant and specific to what your purpose and your goal is. And for those who know me, you know, often I refer to you have to understand your purpose and your goal of using LinkedIn. It's just don't go use LinkedIn. You use LinkedIn for some specific reason, try to achieve some particular goal. And so everybody's goal and everybody's purpose is going to be a little different. You know, those who are in career transition, their purpose is to make connections on LinkedIn relevant to their career transition goal. Their purpose of using LinkedIn is going to be to do research, to find organizations that they can connect with and learn about, and maybe do informational interviews. Their goal ultimately is to be discovered by or to discover someone who may be able to hire them. If you're in business and you're trying to grow your business, and you're a business developer and trying to grow the business that you work for, then your purpose and goal may be a little bit different. Your purpose, your goal might be to build your pipeline to increase your sales. Your purpose might be to do lead generation. Your purpose might be to find prospects that you can get into a conversation with. Again, the purpose is a little bit different for everybody. Your goal is going to be a little bit different. That notwithstanding, if you're going to use LinkedIn as a business tool, then you have to very deliberately decide how much time am I going to invest into this tool. And so there are lots of areas of LinkedIn that you can use. You can constantly be managing and massaging your LinkedIn profile, and you should spend a lot of time building it so it very clearly says who you are and what you do. You could be spending time growing your network, making new connections on LinkedIn, doing research to find people to connect with, research to find people who work in particular companies that you want to connect with. And notice I'm not saying connect, I'm saying do the research to find the people you want to connect with. So remember, you don't send a LinkedIn connect request out to someone who doesn't know you. They need to know you first. So you could be doing, research, and you can be finding organizations and finding individuals and finding ways to connect with them. And then when you're building your network, you just don't connect. You also want to engage with them. The third thing you might want to be doing or consider doing on LinkedIn is engaging with content, sharing articles, sharing in groups, engaging on conversations regarding content that's out there already. Writing your own content if you want to, managing a LinkedIn company page and managing a LinkedIn group. There are lots of different things you could be doing on LinkedIn, and all of these activities that you could be doing require you to invest time. And so you need to figure out, how much time do I want to invest on managing my profile? How much time do I want to invest on building my network and nurturing the relationships of my network? How much time do I want to invest on growing my reputation and building my brand out based on the content that I engage on, the content I share? You need to determine how much time do you want to spend on all these different activities. And once you come up with an idea of how much time you want to invest on LinkedIn to do the things that you need to do to create value, then here's what's important. You need to put it on your calendar. You need to very deliberately decide how much time I'm going to invest on LinkedIn to do the work I need to do, and you need to put it on your calendar. And if you look at my calendar, you'll see it's a sea of blue and a sea of red. I don't need to show you the details of my calendar, but I'll very clearly tell you that on my calendar is the commitment that I make for myself to use LinkedIn to manage my profile and the content that I have on my profile, manage my network and then massage and nurture my network, as well as to manage my brand and grow my brand or my reputation on LinkedIn. It is on my calendar. And for me, I very clearly invest 1 hour every day focused on managing my profile, growing my network and nurturing the relationships in my network, and building my brand and my reputation. For me, an hour a day, 8 hours a week, roughly, because I use LinkedIn. I actually use a little bit more than an hour a day, and I don't just limit it to the weekend, to the weeks. I love LinkedIn, so I'm often on LinkedIn in the weekends as well. It's part of what I do, part of my purpose and goal, so I use it all the time. My point is, I decided that an hour a day is important for me to be able to grow my business. And so I very deliberately set aside an hour a day to do what I need to do to grow my business, managing my profile, managing and nurturing my network, managing and growing my reputation and my brand. So most people aren't going to invest an hour a day. I know this because I've been teaching and training and coaching people on LinkedIn for going on about 4 or 5 years now. What I encourage you to do is set up a smaller amount of time that you can commit to. Commit to it on your calendar every week and see what value you get from it. And what I encourage you to do is think about it 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day in a business week is what? It's an hour and 15 minutes a week. 5 segments of 15, an hour and 15 minutes a week. And if you think about investing an hour and 15 minutes, just an hour a week, and you very deliberately put it on your calendar, and you focus to all the areas that you could be using LinkedIn to create value, managing your profile, managing your network, doing research, getting involved in groups that are relevant to who you are and what you're all about, managing your reputation, your brand by engaging on content and sharing new content. If you very deliberately put these lists of activities and you work them every day, work a different activity, work a different task, you work a different part of the process, and you commit to Monday doing this activity and Tuesday doing this other activity and Wednesday doing this other activity on LinkedIn, if you're that deliberate about investing your time on LinkedIn, you will get value from it. There's no doubt in my mind that if you put your mind to it and commit to it, hold yourself accountable to doing the work that you need to do to create value, and you measure it. You measure how well your profile is building by doing searching against the keywords that are relevant to who you are, LinkedIn search and Google search to see where you find. Where do you land? And where do you land the next day? And where do you land the next day, et cetera, et cetera? Am I moving up the SEO pipeline and getting closer to the first page, if not on the first page, if not the number 1 slot on the first page in a LinkedIn search or a Google search? Invest every day a certain amount of time, or every week a certain amount of time, to where you're doing research to find people you want to connect with and asking to get introduced in a very deliberate way, a very quick, fast-paced activity. And then when you get new LinkedIn connections, what do you do with them? How do you immediately start engaging with them? What conversation do you want to jump into? And then as far as managing your brand and your reputation, what kind of content are you engaging on? What kind of content are you sharing? What kind of conversations are you getting into in LinkedIn groups, on LinkedIn company pages of the people that you want to do business with? The investment that you make into LinkedIn will pay dividends if you, set some priority to your activities and understand what is the purpose of doing these activities focused on your goal. B, if you set aside time every day to do that and you don't let somebody steal that time away for something else, because it's important for you to do what you need to do using LinkedIn. And then B, if you measure it and you pay attention to it and you see what's happening. You will create value using LinkedIn if you commit to the amount of time that you want to commit to every week or every day. And you don't let anybody squander away that time for something else. Spend a minimum of 15 hours a day, an hour a week. Focus on the activities and the tasks that you know will help you grow your brand, grow your network, grow the awareness of who you are, get you found as the authority you are using LinkedIn, get you found as the professional that you are. Remember, there's 400 million people using LinkedIn today. If you build out a profile that very clearly says who you are and what you do, it is likely it's going to get found by somebody. True story. January 4th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, my phone rang. And the reason my phone rang was somebody was on LinkedIn. They did a LinkedIn search for LinkedIn trainer, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and they got my profile. He printed out my profile, 12 pages, because he printed out all the recommendations I have and all the articles that I have. And then he called me because he wanted to talk about who I am and what I do and how I can help him. That's the strength of building out a profile that very clearly says who you are and what you do. And that's what I teach people to do. And that's what I want you to pay attention to so you can get value out of using LinkedIn. And so it's really important for you to pay attention to what LinkedIn can do for you and pay attention to the investment that you make using LinkedIn so that you can make it work for you. So the answer to the question, how much time should I spend on LinkedIn, is very relevant to your purpose and your goal, very relevant to what you're trying to achieve and your ability to do that, and very relevant to your commitment that you make, your commitment to you to be able to use this tool to create value for you. And if you don't commit to doing that, put it on your calendar and never let anybody squander that time away for something else. If you do that very deliberately, purposefully, you will get value out of using LinkedIn, no matter how much time you spend. Again, I'm Teddy Burriss, your LinkedIn coach and trainer. I'm all about teaching individuals in business and life and career how to use this business tool to create value for themselves. And I hope this is making sense for you. And you can also benefit by using LinkedIn in a very purposeful way. So I lost it for a second there, but I got it back. Thank you, Blab. I am so grateful that you created a way for me to reopen a Blab that I accidentally shut down. And not only reopen it, but you gave me the ability to restart the recording. Oh, man, that was absolutely fabulous. I really appreciate that happened because I made a mistake and deleted it by accident. So anyway, again, I'm Teddy Burriss, your LinkedIn coach, trainer, consultant. I'm all about helping people master this business tool. If I can help you out in any way, if you have a question about using LinkedIn, use the /Q and ask the question in the message. If you want to ask the question live, then feel free to jump in and grab an open seat, as long as you're going to ask the question very deliberately focused on how to use LinkedIn as a business tool. Shannon, welcome to the Blab. We're glad to have you out here. Again, I'm Teddy Burriss, LinkedIn coach, trainer, consultant, all about helping people master this business tool. If you have a question about using LinkedIn, please feel free to jump in and ask the question. So the other question that I had asked of me today was, how do I decide who I want to connect with on LinkedIn? So I get a lot of LinkedIn invites on a regular basis. On a daily basis, I easily get 5 or 10 invites to connect. And so I'm very deliberate and, again, purposeful about who do I accept when I get a LinkedIn invite. The way I make the decision is that I pay attention to who that person is. I look at their I'm like this. I don't have time to spend a lot of time doing this, but I first click on their profile, see who they are, see who they're connected with that I'm connected with. If they're in my city or in my region, it makes the answer to the question much easier. I'm more apt to say yes. If there's somebody I've met at an event, I'm more apt to say yes. If there's somebody that they're not in my region, they're not in my industry, I've not met them, then I send them a LinkedIn message. I respond back to the invite to connect with a message, and I ask them who they are and why do they want to connect with me. In a very polite words, I ask them, how can I help them? If they respond back to that question with an appropriate response, whatever that is, they respond back in some meaningful way, then I'm apt to say yes, even though I haven't met them, because they've set up some context between them and me, and they've put in some relevance to who they are and who I am. And so again, if I get an appropriate response, I'm more likely to say yes and connect with them. And then I'll take them through the rest of my process that, again, is very purposeful and deliberate. If they don't answer the question, or they answer the question inappropriately, then I immediately hit the X and I do not accept the invite. I want to connect with people who are relevant to me in lots of different ways. I want to connect with people who understand who I am and how I can help them or how they can help me. I don't want to connect with people just for the sake of connecting. So there's got to be some level of relevance in order for me to connect with them. So again, I'm Teddy Burriss, your LinkedIn coach and trainer. I do seminars, I do webinars, I do one-on-one coaching. I've got a seminar coming up at the end of the month, actually a seminar-webinar combination. And in this webinar, seminar combination, we'll talk about, how to build a profile. We'll talk about how to build a network. And we'll talk about how to build a reputation using LinkedIn. So going to be January 27th in Winston-Salem, January 28th in Greensboro. All of them are at 8:30. Both of them are at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll share a link to the event in the show notes here for anybody who's interested in going and looking at more. It's going to be a fun, energetic, fast-paced 2-hour seminar because there's a lot of content that we need to disperse and share with others who are going to come. I got 50 seats in Winston, 50 seats in Greensboro. Got 25 people going to be on the webinar in both cities. So hoping to have a really large showing there. I've already got lots of people who've already registered, and I'm really looking for anybody else who would like to attend either the seminar live or the webinar via WebEx. So again, I'm Teddy Burriss, your LinkedIn coach, trainer, consultant. I'm all about helping people master this business tool. It is $250. I've only got one person watching right now. That person, actually, I am the only person watching right now, so I'm going to end the event. I've had a good time this morning. I've got other things to do. We're 20 minutes in. Look forward to talking to everybody next week. Thank you much.